And then I wanted to quickly talk about Dune.
David Lynch. Yeah, so remind me what David Lynch films you've seen all the way through.
This one.
Excellent.
This is the film I've seen.
You've seen like part of Mulholland Drive.
We started to watch it, and then I had to go do something.
Well, and so David Lynch's Dune is,
which came out in 1984, I believe.
Yeah, is mostly boring is its problem, with like really interesting, like it has Sting in it. It has some Twin Peaks people. It has Max von Sydow,
Brad Dourif,
Patrick Stewart,
Dean Stockwell.
It's one of those odd. There's a few movies out there to me that are the two that come to mind. Actually the three are Day of the Locusts, The Great Gatsby, the one with Robert Redford, and Murder on the Orient Express, the first one with Albert Finney, where you have all this talent and like they set it up perfectly, and all three of those are based on books, and it is dry. They are dry films. Like I recommend people, but you're like, I'm just not feeling anything. And I feel like Dune has more problems than those three films.
Well, and it's also what you mentioned this, so I'm stealing this out of your mouth, but you're like, so they didn't give Jodorowsky the money to make Dune. Like he ended up being short on the funding, and that's ultimately why the project failed. Like he just couldn't get enough money. And Dune, which comes out, I think roughly 7 years after like Jodorowsky's trying to make it, somebody bought the rights, they gave it to David Lynch, and then David Lynch started to make it. And it's like, why, like, why? And so what, you think David Lynch, like you give it to David Lynch to do, like, but he's also a really weird director. Like why, like, I don't know, there's something very odd about that.
That's again where my significant other had a good point, which is that Lynch is he's more in the Warhol, he's more commercial. He's more in the Warhol. So, yeah, I mean, we can think of Lynch as really weird, and some of his films are really weird, but he has this he also did The Straight Story, which I haven't seen, which like won Oscars and stuff like that. That's the one where it's a guy riding a tractor across the US or some distance.
I like to think of myself as a late blooming cinephile, which means I have not seen any David Lynch, and I don't know.
Okay, so it's from 1999.
Because he hasn't made anything in a while. I was looking up Lynch's Wikipedia page, and I think he made I don't know what his last film was, but he like had kind of fallen out of it, and so he's been working on other things. Though he recently made a short film for like Netflix or something.
Well, and I wonder if that's tied into some of just what we're seeing in general, where like medium level, it's like comic book movies or biopics. But anyway, so back to what I was saying is that he does have a commercial side to him, whereas I don't know that Jodorowsky like had a commercial side to him, at least not in his filmmaking.
No,
but
I'm super curious about Jodorowsky's comic books, but yeah,
it is still strange. It's not like they gave it to Spielberg or someone with known appeal to the masses.
Yeah,
or I don't know. I mean, sci-fi has never, like, who's a sci-fi director from the 80s? I guess Ridley Scott or James Cameron.
Thank you. I'm like, why am I forgetting his last name? Or like James Cameron. I mean, they both made Alien films.
Yeah.
And they're the closest I can think of, though oddly the new Dune, Denis Villeneuve, is kind of the big sci-fi director, because he's done Blade Runner 2049 and he did Arrival. And it's like that he actually weirdly makes the most sense in modern era, because he is kind of becoming known as the sci-fi guy. And I'm totally fine with that, because I love sci-fi movies.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's like, why'd they give it to this guy for him?
No.
But yeah, it is a little bit like, why'd they give it to Lynch? And again, like it has some great, like The Navigator, which is that thing in the huge vat that they keep moving around.
The vagina mouth creature.
Yeah, like they have these great pieces of David Lynch's Dune are great. But the whole, and both of us were wondering if the voiceover was later or what, because I don't recall
The voiceover
Lynch.
was maddening.
Yeah, and I don't recall Lynch doing anything like that before. And the rumor, of course, is that the producers stepped in and messed with it.
Wikipedia, I don't know about how up to date
Not,
Wikipedia is, but he had disowned the movie. At least
yeah,
around when it came out, he was like, "Nope, this isn't really my thing. I'm just."
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
Yeah, no, it's weird that they turn around and give it to Lynch, and then yeah, it's weird that it has all this voiceover that doesn't fit, and the design is really neat, and like I kind of like the style, but like in my post, which I don't think is I haven't put out yet, but I'll put it out later.
you don't
I
have it out
basically,
by the time
yeah, by the time
you
this
put this out.
but it's like that there's this weird thing where it's like the movie feels like it's shot one way, but then it's cut another way. Like it's shot to be long and weird, but it's cut to be kind of a more standard action.
Well, and you're better at noticing that. So I hadn't, they say with Suicide Squad that it like got completely re-edited and different. So I hadn't even thought, but yeah, who knows what order it was originally supposed to go in.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's not, because I think about Mulholland Drive, but he also does stuff that's linear, but like Mulholland Drive's not very linear, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know Lynch well enough to have too strong an opinion, but just from the movie itself, it's like the takes almost felt like there was more to them, or like it felt like there might have been a bunch of stuff cut, or anyways. But so it's just an interesting like back to back to be like, they didn't give it to Jodorowsky, but they gave it to Lynch, and Lynch's version is kind of interesting. Lynch's version to me isn't. I think I've heard some people say it's like a bad good movie, but it wasn't really a bad good movie. It's not.
It's too boring.
It's too boring. It's not poorly made in that way. Like there are interesting things to it. It's just kind of an average, below average kind of movie.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer, but anyways.